My son told me I was too old, too slow, and more trouble than help. He moved into my house like I'd already been buried and dropped me at a nursing home for a few days to rest. I wasn't confused. I wasn't finished. While he thought I'd fade into the wallpaper, I was making a plan one he'd feel every time he stepped onto his porch. I raised Jason with hands that never got a day off. After his father died, it was just us. I cleaned other people's floors till my knees felt like gravel. I skipped dinners when money was thin. I pawned my wedding ring so he could wear a proper suit to graduation. I never asked for thanks. I thought love circles back when you need it most. The day I fainted in the kitchen, I figured it was low sugar. Jason showed up that evening with his wife Danielle, all soft voices and worried faces. "Mama, we just want what's best," he said. Danielle nodded like she'd practiced in the car. They brought soup and kept asking about paperwork and old documents. And how hard it must be to keep a place that size. I didn't know they'd already met a lawyer. I didn't know they were telling neighbors I was slipping. I didn't know Danielle had a locksmith on speed dial. A week later, they took me to lunch. No overnight bag, no phone charger, not even my good shoes. The car stopped at a building with beige walls and plastic flowers. "Just a few days," Jason said. "Rest. The nurse will help you get settled." He hugged me. Danielle kissed my cheek with cold lip gloss. Then they left and never came back. The room had a bed I didn't pick and a dresser with one sticky drawer. No photos, no calendar. When I asked to call my son, the nurse said, "Visiting hours are in the afternoon." "He just left," I told her. She looked unsure. Then brought me a clipboard with forms. My name, his signature, boxers checked, medical consent, admission, observation. He'd signed me in like I was luggage. I sat on the edge of that bed with my hands folded and felt the shake roll through me. The next morning, I asked to speak to the administrator. "There's been a mistake," I said. "I'm not confused. I'm not dying." She gave me that look people give the old sorry eyes, firm mouth. "Your son says you're unsafe alone," she said. "He requested long-term placement." I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I knew raising my voice would become proof. So I waited. 3 days before they let me use a phone. Jason sent me to voicemail. Danielle's number rang once and blocked me. The same woman who cried at my kitchen table about her marriage now acted like I didn't exist. I looked out the window at a courtyard where some folks stared at clouds that weren't there. I told myself, this is not how I end. That night, I asked a nurse for a pen and a little notebook. "I like to journal," I said. I didn't write poems. I wrote facts, dates, account numbers, property deeds, names. I wrote down my lawyer Monica Reeves, who hadn't heard from me in 2 years, but never closed my file. They froze my bank account. I noticed. My name vanished from utilities. I saw it. They thought age meant blind. I survived a hard marriage and breast cancer. I could survive this. I called Monica. She didn't pick up the first time fare. I left a message. "Monica, it's Dolores Mayfield. My son signed me into a facility without consent and forged papers in my name. I have access to a joint account and all original deeds. Call me." She called back the next morning. "Mrs. Mayfield, are you safe?" As safe as a woman can be when her only child locks her away and thinks she won't bite back. She said, "Tell me everything." Then she drove 3 hours in the rain and walked into that place with a briefcase and a face that meant business. "You're not staying here another week," she said. "If they stall, we sue." We spread out the papers on the desk. The fake power of attorney, the consent I never gave, the deed with only my name on it, the joint account Jason thought I'd forgotten about. "You want to go nuclear?" she asked. "No," I said. "I want to go biblical." First move. Emergency motion to revoke the forged POA. We attached a fresh capacity evaluation signed by the facility's own doctor competent. Clear as day. We filed an elder exploitation complaint and froze the account Jason was using to pay a lifestyle he couldn't afford. By Wednesday afternoon, I walked out of that building wearing clothes Monica bought me and air that smelled like freedom. We didn't go back to my house. Not yet. Monica booked us a room for the weekend and filed a petition to force a sale of the property. Jason was living there without the owner's consent. If he didn't move, the court would make him, and because the deed said only Dolores Mayfield, every penny from a cash sale would land in my account. Paperwork was served at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. Danielle screamed. Jason turned the color of chalk and slammed the door. The process server said, I didn't need to see it. Knowing was enough. That evening he called from a number I didn't recognize. "Mom," he said, sounding like a boy who'd lost his backpack. "Is this real? You mean the house you put me out of?" I asked. You're kicking me out of my own home? It was never your home, I said. You forged my name, froze my money, and dropped me in a room that smelled like bleach. You have 30 days. I hung up and slept like I used to, after double shifts heavy and clean. A young couple came with a cash offer and eyes that saw the soul of the place. Feels like it wants to be loved again, the wife said, running a hand along the kitchen counter. It does, I told her. We closed fast. Danielle sent a message on Facebook. We're your family. How could you? I replied, I was your past. You buried me early. Then I blocked her. With the sale money settled, Monica asked, ready for step 2. I've been waiting, I said. Revenge shouldn't be hot. It should be steady. We waited for the gossip to cool. Then I bought the house next door. 1 story, rose bush out front, back porch facing their kitchen window. Paid in full. On move-in day, I wore my Sunday hat and sat on the steps with sweet tea like any grandmother watching the street. Jason came outside in a wrinkled shirt with a trash bag and a phone. He froze when he saw me. I smiled. He turned around and went back inside. I stayed put. I had waited too long for that view. Danielle avoided eye contact and yanked the curtains tight. I planted roses along the fence bright red, loud as sirens. Monica called it petty. I called it peace. Neighbors stopped to chat. I baked banana bread for the young couple who bought my old home. Every evening, I watered the roses and watched Jason try not to look my way. Danielle started leaving early and coming home late. Some nights she didn't come home at all. My grandson, Tyler, walked over after school one day. Backpack hanging, eyes wary. Grandma, can I sit with you? We sat on the porch with iced tea. They said you have dementia, he whispered, but you don't look confused. I smiled. I never was. Why buy here? He asked. Because your dad needed a reminder he can see, I said. He snorted. You're colder than I thought. I laughed. Not cold, baby, just done pretending. The next morning, Jason came to my door, hat in hand. Why are you doing this? Doing what? I sipped my tea. Living here, watching us. I like the view. I said. You're trying to humiliate me. That already happened, I said. You did that when you called me a burden. I stood, slow and steady. I carried you through storms. When I needed help, you locked me away and called it love. This is my peace. Don't knock unless you plan to earn your way back into it. I closed the door without shaking. Peace isn't always an apology. Sometimes, peace is sitting in your chair and feeling nothing stir when the past walks by. I started painting again, small canvases. One morning I painted my old house from memory. But the windows were fog beautiful, but full of people who never saw straight. Danielle got louder. Backyard parties, clinking glasses, little digs thrown over the fence. She's obsessed with us. She needs to move on. We're happy. Happy people don't yell about it from the lawn. Then, one Sunday, a crooked for sale sign went up in their yard. Danielle came out in a robe, shouting. Later, she drove off with the trunk full of boxes and her mouth set hard. No goodbye. That evening, Jason sat on his porch alone. I thought about going over. I didn't. His silence wasn't my job. Tyler knocked on my door. She left, he said. Didn't even say anything. He slept at my place that night. We cooked, played cards, and looked at pictures of his grandpa he'd never seen. You're not a burden, Grandma, he said before bed. I know, I told him. And I did. Weeks passed. Jason's house went quiet. Tyler split his time between school and my place and started smiling again. We delivered groceries to the church pantry. I made an anonymous gift to the community center's senior program. Because I knew I wasn't the only one who'd been pushed aside. Jason came by once more. I messed up, Mama, he said. I was scared. I thought I'd lose everything trying to take care of you. You didn't take care of me. I said. You got rid of me. He nodded. I was wrong. I don't expect anything. I just wanted to say it. Tyler's safe with me, I said. You've got work to do, the kind you can't do on this porch. I went back inside to a house that smelled like cinnamon and home. I updated my will. Jason got nothing. The little house went to Tyler when he turns 21, with a trust for school and living. The rest funds the Mayfield Legacy Grant at the community center, money for older women blindsided by the people they raised. When Jason found out, he called. You're cutting me out completely. No, I said. You did that when you signed me away. I'm sorry, he said. I forgave you, I told him. Forgiveness isn't inheritance. That was our last call. He moved out quiet, no U-Haul, no notice. Tyler brought muffins to the porch. He's gone, he said. People leave when they can't control the story anymore. I said. Will he come back? Maybe, I said. But there's a fence now. Later that year, the community center asked me to speak about elder scams and power of attorney tricks. I told the room, they will call you old. They will call you a Burton. They will smile while they take what you built. But truth has teeth, and the law has a backbone if you use it. Women cried. One hugged me and said, "Thank you for reminding me I'm not crazy." I walked home to my small, bright house that felt bigger than any place I've lived because it was mine, on my terms. Tyler set the table and asked if we could bake cookies. We can bake whatever we want, I said. They sent me to a nursing home and called me a burden. I gave them a burden they'll never shake. A woman who won't disappear. A boy who knows where he comes from. And a story that ends with peace on my porch and roses along the fence.